Mark Calder, thanks for joining us today.
It's great to be with you, Jaime. Thank you for the
Hmm.
opportunity.
Now, that is a beautiful location you're set in. Can you just tell us where you are?
This is about 200 metres from where Susan and I live in a suburb of Bathurst called Windradine. It's about 10 minutes to the west of Bathurst. And often in the morning when I drive to the office past this view, there are kangaroos hopping in the background. So it's quite a delight. And in the far background is a little mountain called Mount Rankin. And when we had snow about 3 or 4 weeks ago, that was covered in snow for about a day. So it was very pretty.
Amazing. Now, I know the weather's an important topic of conversation out your way. Coming from beautiful Noosa, where you were senior minister for 10 years, how are you finding the cold?
I totally love it. So I love it, but just because it's different. And personally, I would always much rather be cold than hot. I think it's much more easy to get warm in the cold than it is to get cool in the heat. But Susan and I put a beautiful log fire into our home when we arrived. And as our log fire is to our home in Bathurst, our pool was to our home in Noosa. And they're both avenues of relaxation and refreshing. And we're very thankful.
Sounds ideal. Now, Mark, you've been Bishop of Bathurst now for almost 2 years.
I'm going to claim 18 months. I'm going to claim 18 months just because it doesn't sound as serious. So, yeah.
Can you tell us, first of all, what is the role of the bishop?
It's an amazingly privileged role, Jaime. I take it it's my role to inspire the parishes and the clergy to be the best possible versions of themselves as they can be. So I want to inspire clergy to be men and women of the gospel who take people back to the Bible and enliven their people with the good news of the Lord Jesus. And I want to empower parishes to do that well and to become parishes which make disciples and mature disciples of Jesus.
Can you give us a sense of perhaps what it means to be the bishop of the Diocese of Bathurst in particular? It's not your typical diocese. For a start, we're not just talking about the town of Bathurst, are we?
It's huge. It takes a third of the size of New South Wales. So we go to West Wyalong in the south and up to Burke in the north, west as far as Cobar, east as our most east parish is Coonabarabran. So it's absolutely huge. However, we only have 29 parishes in that whole entire region. So although geographically it's huge, numerically it's quite small. And I feel well able and in a good position to be able to kind of keep a watchful, pastoral, caring eye over those 29 parishes. The challenge for us at the moment is that 17 out of those 29 don't have clergy. So I'm trying to help those parishes deal with the fact that they don't have clergy, provide resources, equipping and training for lay people who are carrying a lot of the load, and recruit and find and train and send clergy into those areas.
Yeah, look, I've known you for a long time, and I've been following closely the last 18 months since you've been in Bathurst. The gospel vision that you've always had is certainly coming to bear in Bathurst. You just want nothing more than for people to know Christ, to be discipled in him. I'm just wondering, can you tell us how's that taking shape in particular, like a place like Blayney and Millthorpe, where we've recently begun a partnership with Bec Choi and the church there?
And we are so grateful to you and the people of St. Philip's for that partnership. I've just come from having a coffee with Wally and Bec out in Blayney.
Brilliant.
So that's about a half an hour's drive there and back. But just to hear what they're about, to hear that Bec is getting alongside some of the older families, some of the older women, and some of the younger families, to hear Wally's vision for connecting with families, for using the existing kids club, which has been around for a while, but making sure that it connects into the life of the church, for bringing a change to people's focus so that church activities aren't just about a fete or a book fair, but actually about doing ministry and getting alongside people for the cause of the gospel. It's a cultural shift, which will take a long time, but being able to have Bec there alongside Wally is just a huge and wonderful blessing, and we couldn't do it without the partnership of churches such as St. Philip's.
Well, I've got to say, we're excited about this new partnership. Bec is, of course, well known at St. Philip's. She's well loved, and people have really expressed their support for this. And we're very much looking forward to partnering not only with the parish of Blayney and Millthorpe, but perhaps more broadly with with you and your vision for the Bathurst Diocese. Feel free to come and recruit from St Philip's anytime.
Well, thank you. I've actually been saying to people that, you know, if it's time for a tree change, and there are lots of people leaving the city at the moment, just come as lay people and be actively involved in one of our parishes. What a tremendous blessing that would be if you're in a position to be able to consider that. I'd love to talk to you about that.
Absolutely. Look, Mark, last question. The passage that you're going to preach from John's Gospel in a moment for us really it's a remarkable passage where we see Jesus' compassion, we see his mercy on full view. I'm wondering, just before you preach, can you capture for us in a nutshell the message of your sermon for us today?
As long as you still listen to the sermon.
We'll just make it brief.
Look, I think there are two things. I think for those among us, and I think there are many, including me, who are all too ready to condemn people and pick up the stone, here's a challenge. We're not qualified to do so. Mm-hmm. But also for people who are feeling condemned themselves and maybe feel the condemnation of other Christians and perhaps the condemnation of God himself, here is a wonderful promise that Jesus will not condemn you because he has actually borne the condemnation for you.
Wonderful.
So that's where we're going to go exploring this morning, Jaime.
Wonderful. Mark, it's been great to catch up virtually like this. I can't wait for lockdown to end, like all of us, and maybe in the not too distant future, I'll be able to get out there and visit you and go and visit the parish of Blayney and Millthorpe and meet Bec and Wally in person. Really hoping to do that.